What do you do when you feel that your business isn't just scaling? You pivot, right? Today on the podcast, I'm sitting with Rashidi Kabamba, who walked away from the complex robotics project into human performance, HR, and music. If you're dealing with stress, burnout, or you just feel that you're stuck at that 0%, Rashidi is going to share the daily habits from gym to the library, and that will help you get 1% better by tomorrow morning. Welcome, Rashidi, and thank you very much for being here. I'm extremely thankful for your presence here. I remember the time we met the first in one of the tech incubator here in London, Ontario.
Yeah,
and that was the early stage of our careers.
Yes.
And from that point of time, that was back in 2022,
Yes.
if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
From that time, we both have grown
Yes.
a lot.
A lot.
And I just want to deep dive into your journey. How did you manage everything? Having your own company with RKEs, making yourself as one of the winner in Leap Junction, and just basically, how did you manage everything from this?
Mm-hmm.
Making sure that all 4 pillars of your life, that is career, education, entrepreneurship, health and relationship, making sure intact.
Wow, that's a jam-packed question. Honestly, I just want to say thank you so much again for this podcast. It's remarkable. But I think the reason why I've been able to do so well with the multiple things that I've been doing, it all comes down to foundation, right? I think I was raised well by a really great parent that taught me great disciplinary things and disciplinary routines that would enable me to establish who I am today. So growing up, I played a lot of sports, and my mom put me into a lot of sports, which was phenomenal because I learned a lot of discipline, had a lot of trainers, and I was actually raised in Houston, Texas, and Tempe, Arizona, had a lot of trainers, and these trainers enabled me to learn regimens that were able to not only be pivotal in what I do on the court, but also off the court too as well. So from 2022 onwards, I was honestly just starting to put myself out there, learning skills and going to these incubators and accelerators to be able to learn certain skills to get my name out there. So I started off with a workshop with RKE's company to be able to reduce workplace stress, enhance employee engagement and retention, because I was studying HR at the time. But then as it started to develop and it started to grow, I realized that making music was actually better than the actual workshop itself. So I pivoted. So I've done multiple pivots throughout my time. It's just because it's like, sometimes I wasn't seeing traction. Sometimes I would get into a dead end, but I was able to actually pivot and be more flexible. So I was stubborn in my vision, but flexible in the details. And through that, I've been able to look at my 4 pillars as something that's not separated from each other, but rather interconnected. And through that interconnectedness, I've been able to develop multiple skills that are transferable so that I can be the person who I am today.
I am extremely amazed by that. And
wow.
Glad that you mentioned about your parents. That is something most of the people are negligent about. They forget the efforts your parents have put into the sacrifice they have made. So thank you for mentioning that.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
And moving forward, you are balancing your life in a holistic manner, having your education in HR as well, working on your business, your passion with music and everything.
Yeah.
How does your first hour of the day look like?
My first hour?
Yes.
So my first hour looks like, first of all, getting up, usually saying a prayer, and then actually going about reading a book. So it doesn't really matter what book it is at the time, but I usually read the first hour of the day to get my mind focused. And then I have a coffee. Gotta have coffee, gotta have some caffeine to kickstart the day. Honestly, I don't know where I would be without a caffeine to kickstart the day, but I would just read, and then I would read, have the coffee, and then I'm ready to go.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's pretty much my first hour.
Right. Do you believe in God?
Do I believe in God? Yes, I do believe in God.
Okay.
I mean, that's a podcast in its own self.
Yes, absolutely. So you mentioned that reading was your escape from burnout.
Yeah.
What book are you reading right now?
This is perfect. So the book that I'm reading right now is actually China and the Next Economy. China, the Next Economy. It's it's a very profound book because it's talking about the development of China's economy and what we call Dragonomics, right? And Dragonomics essentially was by the author. I'm not really sure. I think it's something starts with Arthur, but in the book, he's talking about the uprising of China's economy and how China's economy now, because of their state enterprises, they're very competitive in the global landscape, right? I mean, my background is like Congolese from Canada, and the influence that China has in Africa is substantial right now, right? From the mining sectors and the minerals and metals exploration and stuff like that. And just what they've been able to do, staying away from, like, not only have they been economically viable, economically supreme, but they've been diplomatically supreme. And I feel like that's really what's driving China's growth. I mean, I don't really want to get too much into the politics because, some people have different viewpoints, but that's just technically the book I'm reading right now, because it positions me to be able to think about the future, which is ultimately the reason why I'm reading that book.
Right.
China and the Next Economy.
Awesome. If you have to recommend one book to probably a student watching this podcast, on the same path that we both were back in 2022, figuring out how to lead the path and how find that balance in the life, what that would be?
Honestly, if I had to talk about a book that I would have read first, like especially if you're not really a reader, Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Because what the book establishes is that one habit or one vice compounds.
Right.
So I have a question for you, Mr. Podcaster. Florid.
Sure.
Would you rather take $10 million in a month, or would you compound a penny every day for 31 days in a month?
I would compound a penny.
Okay, you're a smart guy. You're really wise. So
Absolutely.
Actually, when you compound a penny, I think it equates to over $10 million.
Yes.
But that's actually the most important aspect that we have to look at in terms of our personal development, our personal growth, is that each habit that we develop and we concoct within ourselves is actually putting us on a trajectory either of total disaster or total prosperity. And through that process of reading that book, that's when I started to realize, okay, I gotta have these 4 pillars, and I have to have that interconnectedness and have that foundation to make sure my habits are aligned with my values so that I can grow and be a prosperous person.
Right. You mentioned earlier about pivoting your career many times.
Yeah.
How does that look like? And what was the time that you thought, or when you decided that, hey, this is not something for me? Or how can we make this better, not to hit those dead ends and just to have that balance in the holistic manner?
I think I pivoted many times, mainly due to just hitting bumps in the road, either externally or internally. Like internally, just comes like I got tired and burnt out, which is the reason why I'm so prevalent in terms of like mental health, well-being, which we're gonna speak on, and also too, as well as like externally, just not seeing traction in the marketplace. External factors like not having the resources to be able to finish the goal, right? So what happened is I was like, okay, well, if I might not have the resources now, I might as well be able to take with the minimal resources that I have now, be able to leverage it into something else so that when I gain more resources, I might come back to it, right? So I think that's how you have to look at it. It's like when you're pivoting, it's like just because you might not have your goal at that moment doesn't mean the goal is finished. So you have to be able to look at your goals and be like, and assess it internally and externally to say, okay, this goal was good. I shot for the moon, landed on the stars. I might as well backtrack a little bit, right? Then pivot, like switch somewhere else, and then come back to it later on. So that's kind of like how I had to pivot multiple times.
Awesome. A lot of people, let's talk about more towards health.
Okay, yes.
A lot of people go to the gym,
Yeah.
and mostly what I see is they are there for the body, the physical shape, to maintain that and to have that balance. You go for mind.
Yeah.
Can you talk more about it?
Yeah, so I've been trying to go to the gym actually myself. So it's so funny that this is a question, because to lose weight and to physically get in shape, but your mind is where the battlefield is. Your mind is where everything originates. So the reason why you're going to the gym is because there's probably an internal reason which makes you want to go to the gym, either to have to fulfill extrinsic goals or intrinsic goals, right? So my mind has to be cultivated in a way in which I'm not only just physically adept or physically well in shape, but I have to be mentally sharp, because competence results into capital, right? Not just monetary capital, but actually yields results. I just use capital as a word because it starts with a C, but I feel like when you have competence, it yields into results. That's how you can attract people like yourself, or I can attract people that go into incubators or accelerators, or doing well in school and stuff like that. It's just competence. And I feel like with all this stimulation that's in the world today, and he say, she say, competence is what's going to be the separator in the world today, because the person who knows what they're actually talking about and is firm and solid in their knowledge can pivot to any industry and can be at the top 1%. Can be the top 1% and do extremely well.
Awesome. Awesome. So how was your experience when you were learning robotics, and what was the moment that you pivoted, and how?
Yeah, so when I first came to Fanshawe College, it was like 2019, I was trying to be what you call a robopreneur.
Yes.
Right? That's actually because, and this is very good to talk about. The reason why it's really good to talk about is because it was my first real idea that I actually had. Like, that I actually tried to actually pursue and make it come to fruition. And why it's important to talk about is because a lot of people have a lot of ideas, but they don't actually see where it goes to be able to even attempt to see if it actually can become something. So every day in my class, I was in electromechanical engineering technician and robotics. I would go to my teacher after class. I joined the robotics club. I was a first robotics mentor, and I'd always ask questions like, how do you go about building a robot? How do you go about building a robot? Even though the goal was so grandiose, and I didn't know where the goal was. Actually, how I first came up with that idea, I was walking in Africa, and I saw a robot on the street that actually was directing traffic. And I thought to myself, like, if there's a robot in Africa, in Congo, I can probably pursue a robot in Canada. Why not? And that's how I first started thinking about this idea. But that one epiphany led me to having this conversation today. Because if I never believed in being a robopreneur, how would I have met innovation partners like Tech Alliance? How would I have ever met Leap Junction? I would have never known, there would be no RKEs. Because RKEs is actually a byproduct of the robopreneur idea, because I actually got so tired, I burnt out. And then I learned about tactics of strategies of coping mechanisms, and I used music as a leverage to be able to reduce my stress so I could continue to pursue my actual endeavors. So I'm saying all this to say is that one idea that you have, if you actually pursue it, you don't know where it can take you. You don't know where it can lead you to. So you might as well pursue it. And if you fail, like we said earlier, you go to the moon, you land on the stars. Like, at least I did that, because when I was doing that idea, I did a pitch competition in 2020. Leap Junction pitch competition, Charlie the robotic animal dog. It's still on YouTube till this day, Charlie McDonald. And I was able to win second place in my first pitch competition and learn how to pitch. So I did that, and it was so competitive too because they were working on software. But a lot of I would have never known what a SWOT analysis is. I would have never known what entrepreneurship even is at all. Like in terms of lean startup methodologies and like all the things that I learned over the course of my time, I would have never understood if I didn't actually pursue the robot idea. So it was like, even though I didn't actually design the robot and I had to pivot, the experiences that I gained through the process are second to none. And that's the reason why I always tell people, if you have an idea, like try to pursue it because you don't know where you're going to land.
When you mentioned that, I can relate to myself from the time when I pivoted many careers throughout this journey, and every single experience taught me something that I still have. And that's just gonna help me to move faster in different industries or whatever passion that I follow. So
exactly.
Earlier I was talking with someone in the community here. Does part-time work that you did when you were early in your career, probably you worked in a cafe or maybe you worked in a restaurant, does the same skills apply when you go out and try to find a job in corporate? And the answer is yes, because let's say you worked at a cafe, you must have talked with many people throughout the day. That helps you to build that communication skills and that brings the extrovert nature of you. So thank you for mentioning that. I really,
you're welcome.
Loved the idea of having that experience, robotics, the pitch competition that you won. From that time, having yourself featured in Leap Junction, winning that prize as well. And now plug and play in LA. So awesome.
Definitely.
Awesome. Let's move forward.
Okay.
So you brought yourself from robotics to founding your own company called RKEs. And studying HR. Music. I just want to understand why HR.
Okay, so HR is a unique business dimension. Why I say that is because as a musician, we worry about sound moving emotions and evoking emotions. And that emotion that it's evoked inside of you moves you one way or the next. So HR is the human-centric side and the human-centric side of a business. So from performance management to compensation to training and development, like being a learning specialist. So I like HR because HR it enables you to look at everybody as a human being, but understanding that these human-centric issues can cause business mishaps, and these business mishaps can cost the overall success of your business.
Absolutely.
If you're not managing people correctly and you're not taking out the best out of them to be able to fulfill their potential within the job, then at the end of the day, the company is not going to reach their strategic and organizational goals. Now, how that correlates to music is because music enables you to cope with your stresses, to cope with your trials, tribulations, adversities, but also makes you feel good. It's an emotional, intelligent thing. And those are the two correlations that I feel like with HR and music, that they're synonymous. You have to be very emotionally intelligent.
You mentioned having that compound effect. You must have read it through many books as well. You believe in getting 1% better every single day. And that's I think that's the rule that you live by. What do you say to those people who feel stuck, probably in the wrong career, or they are stuck at that 0%? They are not able to move beyond that. They are not able to do more in their life. Many reasons behind that, but how do you help yourself, and how do you guide them?
That's a very great question, because I'm a counterculture person, because I personally believe that rest is reason is rest. That's one of our stable points at RKeys, because I feel like not enough people are looking at being stuck as introspectively. Like, just because you don't always have to be moving to be moving, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm gonna elaborate on it. Like, if you look at like certain cultures, right? They always have like these gurus. But why are the gurus sitting down and they're in a posture? Because they're in a state of flow. They're in a flow state. So when you feel stuck or you feel in a rut, it's to look within yourself to see what you actually possess. Because not every situation that you're in, you have to be going 100%. You have to be moving forward all the time. You could be actually pausing, and it can actually be resetting you, or maybe even redirecting you. The biggest mistake that people make, I feel like, is the lack of self-awareness. Like, what is the situation telling you? So, and what is and if it's telling you something, how do you actually respond to it? And one thing that I like is about this doctor named Han Selye. He's a physician of the father of stress. He says, it's not the stress that kills you, but your reaction to it. So when you feel stuck or you feel in a rut or you feel overwhelmed, it's how you actually interpret the situation, what dictates how far you're gonna get from that scenario or go to the next situation or the next rut. It's your reaction to it. And reactions are based on your interpretations and your perceptions and your views. And you do that by, as we stated earlier, the mind, training your mind, reviewing your mind. Like, how do I renew my mind to the point where it's like, okay, I'm looking at my situations like it's not hindering me, but it's actually making me grow in different types of ways. Growth doesn't always have to be external where it's like physically dominant. Growth can be stillness. Growth can be rest. Growth can be serenity. But it also can be like, okay, I got a higher paycheck or something like that. You know, growth comes in a myriad of ways. So that's just something that I wanted to add to that too.
Right. Based on your perspective, how often a person needs to retrospect themselves?
I think you should have downtime within your actual time. There's a book, it's called Rest, Why You Get More Done While You Do Less. And it's by a guy who is named Alex Suchung or something like that, but he's a Silicon Valley consultant. And he talks about different ways in which rest teaches you how to actually have epiphanies, right? So having downtime and being self-reflective is actually very, very important. And I feel like if you meditate or just like being able to reflect on your life mitigates how much mistakes you'll make in the future. Because people always say you have to learn from your mistakes, but when do you have time to actually learn from your mistakes? If you're not taking that downtime to rest and to chill, to actually reflect on your actual mishaps.
Can you talk more about your company? Because what I have read is through RKEs, you help people calm their mind.
Okay.
If you can talk more about it, that is something interesting because I personally want to deep dive into it.
Okay.
And have that perspective, have that idea of having music that helps the brain to perform efficiently.
Well, it's honestly remarkable because music is one of the greatest therapeutic tools ever known to man. It's been studied, researched, analyzed from time. And different sounds trigger different emotions. If you're feeling like angry or mad and you're listening to certain music, it triggers that. Matter of fact, music comes from the word to muse, which means to be absorbed in thought. So music is a mental thing regardless, right? So utilizing different sounds, like me, I like lo-fi, or what we call in rap, boom bap. Like boom, doom, doom, boom, boom, boom. But they say that boom bap rap actually induces sleep. So my style of rap, rest kind is is designed to induce sleep, rest, relaxation, because through the rest, relaxation, right, you can unwind, you can unpack, and through that unpacking, it's like you can just feel yourself again. You can feel whole. And there's a big issue in society now with overstimulation, right? So the music and the genre that I try to make is trying to make people feel like themselves and unwind and unstress and feel less duress in the obstacles that they're facing in their life today, you know? So I originally started with a workshop to teach people how to make jingles to reduce workplace stress, right? And I felt like workplace stress was rising due to the research I was doing with different incubators and stuff like that. I was able to find that research, but then I just pivoted and actually making my own personal music and actually trying to make jingles too, which went to Google Dev Fest, you know, and performed a jingle. That was phenomenal, right? That was fun in Windsor, and I did the whole speaking engagement with future lyricism, right? So that was good too. So that's kind of the ways in which my brand encompasses it, right? It just started with music, but I see it can expand to different things, which hopefully I'll be able to endeavor with in the future.
Amazing. You use music and jingles to help people release their stress or reduce the stress. Can you explain the science behind it?
Yeah, so the thing about making music, the science behind it, is that music actually releases oxytocin. Oxytocin is called the love hormone. So it actually, when you actually make music, more oxytocin is actually produced in your brain. So oxytocin is called the love hormone because it makes you relax. Music also releases natural endorphins. Endorphins are naturally pain relievers and natural relievers of pain that you produce when you work out. Right? So you actually produce natural endorphins and natural oxytocin when you're actually when you're making music. Making music is better than actually listening to it, right? I looked that up on WebMD actually. So yeah, WebMD actually talks about how making music is better because it's more of a cognitive exercise and you can feel that joining. You know, I think about the example of like a church, for example. Like, why did they do worship in the beginning and people started clapping their hands and they're all together? And they do that because obviously it's part of their routine, but it's interesting because the oxytocin is a love hormone that attaches and bonds people to each other. That's what oxytocin, a lot of the time oxytocin is for. And music is perfect for actually utilizing that tool for that. So that's kind of like the science behind music. And like I said earlier, music means to muse, right? To be absorbed in thought. So when you're listening to songs, why do they stick into your head all the time? Because it means to muse. And muse is also based on inspiration. So like the muse was a Greek goddess. So it's like, I think it was a god or Apollo. Or the muses, like a muses. I don't know if it was a goddess or a god or something like that, but like the muses and the muse, like it's for inspiration, you know, to contemplation. So that's where a lot of the time music comes from. And if you notice, like, that's why it's like, how come songs are stuck in your head all the time?
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So yeah, that's the attachment to it, and that's the science behind it.
Yeah, I feel time I'm just jingling the same song over and over.
Yeah. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I always say McDonald's, right?
Yes.
Mine is like rest is reason, reason is rest. We gotta get the stress off your chest. That's how I first started with that, where our keys went actually.
Amazing. So you mentioned that making music is much more helpful to release the stress. So how do I get started, or how do someone watching this podcast who is new to the industry?
Okay, how do you get started? Okay, first of all, look at your own genre or your own style. Because I feel like when you attach your own genre first, that's the easier type of music to make because you connect to it.
Okay.
So I like rapping because I like words. So like rapping is like for like wordsmith, a lot of deep lyricism. So like, because I like the words, I look at like different artists like J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar who are very like lyrical heavy, right? And then I look at beats or sounds that kind of put me in the state of relaxation, like lo-fi or, you know, like the decibel. They usually have in music, it's called decibels. So the speed of what you're actually looking at the music at. So I look like jazz and stuff like that, and different types of speed levels about music. If you want to get started, that's where you get started at. And what makes you feel the most inspired to either, and you don't have to even write anything. Music is about sound. It's not about words. It's about sound. So like people, they talk about mumble rap, like
Yes.
and some people think it's dumb, like intellectually, but they don't realize that music is about sound. It's about how
Right.
you feel, the wave, the vibe. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Like it's
Yes.
about the vibe. So the sound makes you under the sound puts your emotions in a certain state, and that can trigger inspiration. It's very triggering. So I think that that's the main thing. If you want to start music, is like
Mm.
where do you get the most inspiration? I usually start with your own genre,
Mm.
then look at a sound
Mm.
and try to practice sound effects. If I were to start making music again, first of all, I would have not started with words. I would have started with sound effects.
Mm.
Because essentially, like, it's the sound that makes the music like the pinnacle. Like, it's what makes music what music actually is. Yeah, not so much the words. The words is like the complementary piece to what the sound is.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Do you use or do you recommend using any AI tools? If so, what are those? I mean, for an example, if I have to get started
Yeah.
building a music for myself, probably that to release the stress levels or just to have that good mood kind of a feeling.
Yeah.
I would probably go on any AI tools and start from there because I don't have enough equipments to get started.
Yeah.
So do you have any recommendation in that
Well,
area?
in terms of lyrics, I was actually able to leverage some AI tools by local London founders, actually.
Okay.
Staccato AI, which is an artificial intelligence that was made by this guy, Jeff Lupker, who actually was a Western grad. He's a PhD in composition, and he actually developed a large language model for, it's pretty much a co-writer for your DAW, AI co-writer for your DAW, and it has a lyrics side to it as well. So I usually like using the lyrics. And then Jason is like the co-founder too. He's a COO or I think he's a CFO or he's the co-founder, right? So he handles like the finances, the business side and stuff like that. So Jeffrey actually handles a lot of the music side and stuff like that. So in terms of AI tools in music, it's a very sensitive conversation. Really reason why it's a very sensitive conversation is because I just want to use a disclaimer, right? Because it's like music is so emotional, right? It's like your own taste buds. It's what we do as human beings, right? So, but technology is also another thing that's with us and that can never go away. So I wouldn't shy from innovation. I'd rather just augment it into the workflow. So if you're trying to do like producing, I'll talk about Staccato or lyric Staccato. I haven't really used that many other AI tools in terms of music, but I don't see that. I mean, some people go as far as saying it's soulless, but I just feel like it's a tool that can be leveraged if you have the right intentions. Right? Now, but in terms of like the business side of it and the legal side of it, that's a whole another world in itself. But I would say Staccato, and then people use Suno, but I haven't really dabbled too much other than Staccato into like the AI world in music.
If you have to learn or learn that one thing that you wish now, probably that you have learned years ago.
Wow. Honestly, if it's a technical skill,
yes,
it'd be programming. I wish I would have learned how to program earlier on because I feel like I have so many ideas and I feel like it's never too late, right? We talked about that earlier, but I think another skill that I would want to have learned earlier on is like patience. That I learned as I grew older is like patience, right? And just being able to know that good things take a long time to actually come to fruition, right? It may take years and years and years and years to be that overnight success. So I think patience would have been the number one thing that I would say if I would have learned before that I would want to learn now. And I'm still working on it every day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You have seen success in tech, music, even HR lately,
Yeah.
and in basically the field of even robotics, if I have to quote that.
Okay.
In your eyes, what does it mean to be the top 1%?
Okay. So in my eyes, to be the top 1% of whatever field you're doing.
Yeah, or is it about job title, paycheck?
I think
is it peace of mind?
I think the top 1%, if you say it, peace of mind. And then not only just peace of mind, but authenticity. The reason why I say that is because every brand or every company or things that are actually good at what they do are authentic. And they what you call keep it real, right? Be the most authentic version of yourself, not only in your core competencies, but also in your personality and your authenticity. So that's how I feel like being the top 1% is. They don't have to like fake it till you make it, right? I actually was writing a song like called Step. It's the first song I actually released. And I was talking about different artists who like wear Gucci and the Prada when it's like what I was to say, like step 1, get fresh, lace my shoes. Step 2, but they were wearing Gucci and the Prada when I was rapping better when I was whenever I was a fetus in the womb rapping that goo goo gaga. It played now but sound better than a lata, cause most rappers soft as pina colada, trying to rock all the fake Gucci and the Prada, like because they're trying to fake it till you make it. So authenticity matters because when you go your own path and you make your own way and you do your own thing, nobody can take that away from you. So you don't have an internal guilty conscience or baggage that's carrying you. You know, I feel like when you're just authentic, you do what you have to do originally, then nobody can stop you.
We almost came to the end of the podcast.
Wow.
And how do you see your life now? From a perspective of someone who is leading your industry?
Okay, so how I see my life now versus somebody leading the industry is just that they're exactly what I am right now. And I feel like this is what separates the 1% too as well, is they're always students. They're lifelong learners. So like, even though I'm a student music entrepreneur, it's like you still have to be a student for the rest of your life. And the people that are leader in the industries are always learning new skills, and they're not allowing the next generations to diminish their actual success. They're reinventing themselves constantly and consistently. So a student, you're always a student. You're always learning from the next generations, and you're always you're always on the ball. You're keeping tact and you're staying humble. And I feel like that humility enables you to be able to understand, you know, where you have to pivot or if you don't have to pivot, or you're going to keep going, or how to keep pursuing that direction. So that's what I personally feel like. It's just that you have to be a student of the game, no matter if you're at the top or you're at the bottom or where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a student. You still always have to be a student of the game.
I love that. I love that. What are you learning now?
What am I learning now? Other than HR, I've been learning Lovable, vibe coding actually. So I vibe coded my own actual artificial intelligence web application that essentially is like a fan-based database application where I would have different fans tell me what they feel about what is stress, what is burnout, and also too, as well as like how much they would pay for my mixtape. So we're actually co-collaborating together as building a company, and actually too, as well as like building the Arkeys experience. So through that vibe coding, it's really opened up my eyes to what programming can do, that somebody, or what AI can do. Somebody as simple as me that doesn't have that background can still be able to make a contribution technologically that I wouldn't have been able to have made if I didn't know if I didn't know it existed. So vibe coding on Lovable, continually reading my books, and then mastering my learning more proficiencies in HR.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rashidi.
Thank you.
It's an honor to sit with you and
Wow.
share the knowledge that you have, the wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
I wish you all the best with your company, with
Thank you.
your learning goals.
Yeah.
And I'm sure our path will cross and we'll sit one more time in the same room to talk more about what's will happen.
Okay. Thank you so much, Florid. It was an amazing conversation. I really like the logo in the back, and I'm ecstatic for what to see how this podcast is going to evolve, develop, and see your next chapter as a content creator.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you for watching the entire podcast. This was the Conversations with Florid. If you have gained a single value from the podcast, please consider it sharing with at least one person whom you think might benefit. Until then, keep figuring out, and we'll see you in the next one.